Welcome to a Core Kavana guided meditation. I'm Esther Levy, your host, and this is powered by Ujjayi Inc. So join me. Invite yourself into this space by taking an inhale through the nose, slowing down the pace, and filling the internal body with breath and oxygen. Soften the eyes. Relax the shoulders. Sit back into your seat and take a moment to tuck your rib cage here. And drop your shoulders again. And then lengthen the spine. A great way to create space in the spine is visualizing that you are being held up by some string. So sit your neck up and then allow it to reach and lift while your shoulders stay down. And discover another inhale here. This one taken slower than you took the last one in. And really try to fill that inner space. It might actually take you a couple sips of air to fill completely. So as you fill the body, sometimes you will stop and ask yourself, is there more room? Can I allow more abundance, more fresh oxygen into this space? Just experience where your emotional space is as well while you do take in this inhalation. Communicating with yourself that you have this space for abundance available to you. And then begin to softly exhale. Relaxing the eyebrows and slowing down the pace. Giving your mind permission to align with your body. Then just come to just a natural breath, natural breathing rhythm, softening into your space. And taking a moment to connect. When we have the need and the desire to connect with the people around us, It's also usually coming from a deep need to connect with ourselves. But just like anything else, we need to take the time to ask ourselves, what does connection mean to us? How would you like to connect? And a lot of times, connection just has to do with realignment. When we're aligned properly, we do feel connected. And a simple visual is, if you ever seen a car, they have these like race cars, and they have the wheels that start tilting outwards. Now what ends up happening is the wheel itself might not get damaged, but what happens is the axle, the thing the wheel is connected to, will. In our body, we work on emotional alignment here, and I'm going to give you a physical visual, and then we're going to focus on the emotional. A lot of us will struggle with pain in the hips, but if you notice if you notice how you walk, right? If your feet aren't parallel at all times as you walk, and your feet are slightly tilted outward, the thing it's going to affect most is the joints, but mainly the hips. And after doing that for a day, a week, a month, years, there's definitely going to be a shift in a lot of things in your body, but also the support you have for yourself. So if we take the same example for emotional alignment, sometimes there's a little bit of a shift in that alignment, and we're trying to find some big thing that is like a problem. Like, okay, where is this big issue, right? And we're looking for this massive situation to have to deal with. And all that really has to happen is this reconnection. But because we struggle with feeling this enormous pain or discomfort emotionally, we are trying to detect a problem that is equally as large or uncomfortable. And a lot of times it's not the case. A lot of times, all that has to happen is, just like with walking and your feet, the only thing that has to happen is you need to just put 2 feet flat on the ground, align them, and begin to slowly walk straight. So with our emotions, when we have a challenge with connection, connecting with the world around us, connecting with ourselves, connecting with a higher power, all that has to happen is we need to realign. reconnect the mind and the body. Because when the body collapses, so does the soul. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just harder to access. So by taking a moment to breathe properly, right? Because fresh oxygen, abundant oxygen, when we take deep, abundant breaths, the message that we're giving ourselves is, number one, that we are enough. Number two, that we have value. And we are boosting and rebooting the system, the inner system. By breathing into our brains, we can get clarity. We can lower our anxiety. And we can reconnect. So I'm going to ask you all today, how are you doing today? And if the answer could be an emotion without words, right? So instead of applying a sentence to it, I want you to ask yourselves, how do I feel? What is my vibration like? Yesterday, the topic was on softening the delivery of our words and the value of how valuable that is for us, just as the intake, right? We take information in and then we communicate it with the world and with our inner selves. When we talk, if we apply a softer narrative, it is easier on the body. Because not only is intensity, if we're using intensity in trying to convey something to somebody else, not only does that affect the other person, it affects our own vibration. So take an inhale here and try to soften that delivery. If you answered that question of how are you today? How would you feel it and where would you feel it? So there's just realignment here. It's not something new. It's been here all along. It's just that we just need to realign. And why would we want to impact somebody? A lot of very powerful words go out there. It's like, I want to make an impact. Why would you want to punch someone if you have the opportunity to give them an emotional hug? Why would we want to knock the wind out of someone if we can deliver the same gift with softness? And that also works for us. Like, why would we want to experience discomfort if comfort is available to us. So today's focus is more on how we realign that space, but even in the delivery. When we express softness, and again, this is a daily practice. This is not something that happens overnight. Softness is a beautiful thing. Calm is a beautiful thing. But not only do we need to realign how we deliver, it also begins with our thoughts around softness, gentleness. The message that a lot of us have gotten is that something delicate, right, is fragile. It can break easy. And when you're delicate, you are more susceptible to vulnerability, or you're weak. So realigning that entire thing for me was fascinating, and I'd love to share that with you. So if you think about delicate, the word delicate, it also is a similar word to the word delicacy. It's related to the more finer things in life. Now, to expose yourself to the finer things in life, you got to learn about finer things in life and handle them with care. So rather than saying they have a risk of breaking, let's just learn how to use them properly. And then we don't have to worry about it. Because when we handle things correctly, when we use them properly, it's the greatest feeling in the world. People pay a lot of money for delicacies, for this sense of experience. But what's usually attached to delicacies is value, right? You see, the more you can afford, right, the more delicacies you can have in your life. But really all it is a very expensive connection to your own value system and to your emotional space. And that could be done and achieved just by learning how to soften into the space. Giving ourselves permission to indulge in a refined vibration, because as women, we are soft. We are gentle. And the goal is not to try to find rougher corners or ways to protect ourselves. The real question should be, how can I be soft? How can I express my delicate side at all times? And sometimes it seems impossible. It's like, how can that even happen? But if we don't ask ourselves these questions, we'll keep on misaligning, right? And just like our feet, we'll start having pain in the spine, and then we don't sleep good at night, and then we're irritated. And what happens emotionally when we don't meet ourselves with softness is we keep on losing the sense of womanhood. So we have this idea of what a woman is. But what I've noticed is that it's a constant rediscovery for me. And I'm loving this journey. I'm loving this journey of discovering who I am as a woman. The question is, am I using everybody else's narrative? Or am I going deep inside and saying, what feels right? What makes me feel better about myself? And something that I know is that I'm sensitive to noise. I'm sensitive to aggressive volume in any form, even my own. So I'm beginning to recreate this atmosphere. And that is one action at a time. That is one sentence at a time. More than how I speak to others, it's how delicate am I with myself? How supportive am I to myself? And the moment that we take the time to step into that light and into that space, there's usually an instant relief, in the sense of you can feel when you're getting closer to yourself, when you're meeting yourself where you are, when you begin to eliminate some of the discomfort. And discomfort shows up in all shapes and sizes. So it's taking a moment to really enter that space, which is yours, and constantly realign that space. And this could be done in a few ways. So just like with a healthy diet, you'll get benefits of nutritious food if you are eating clean, right? You will experience a higher quality in energy. And a deeper sense of happiness and contentment. Because when you eat healthier, you are fueling your body. With our thought process, it's just paying attention to what are we allowing in? What are we allowing into our lives on a daily basis? Because whatever we let in is going to be part of the ingredients that is mixed into what we birth. Every sentence that we speak, every action that we take is like a combination or a recipe of what we've taken in. And what we've taken in is going to influence how and what we deliver into this world. Because actions live through us, right? We actually create them. We bring them into being. And we have this wonderful, wonderful power to bring gifts into this world. But as women, it's so important to make sure that we are delivering as women. We are softening into this space and trying to realign and deliver what we need to deliver the way it's supposed to be delivered. From the space of a woman, from the softness of a woman. And we're in a space right now where even as the world as a whole, there is a lack of nurturing. There is a lack of softness. There's a lack of grace. And sometimes we think about, oh, I'm going to find something really, really big to do. I'm going to go make a massive difference. The biggest difference every single one of you can make is soften into your space and begin operating from a deeper sense of womanhood. This is something that every single one of us have to work on. I still am not sure. Like, I'm still discovering it. But what I did discover was operating from this space is a good thing. And when we do this, we provide healing for the world. We're not only healing ourselves, but we're healing the world. And as the world experiences pain, as we experience pain, and we see enormous tragedy, it's taking a moment to be like, rather than trying to face it with an army, all we need to do is face it with grace and softness. Realign into this space. Because by birthing these gifts of softness into the world and nurturing into the world, through our delivery, we are actually creating a brand new world. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is a Core Kavana guided meditation that is given daily for free. Feel free to invite anyone you feel that might need it, like and follow. And I appreciate you all coming.